There are tons of details, Easter eggs and recognizable locations in Hogwarts Legacy that already make the castle one of the most exciting open world spaces to explore. Thanks to all the recent previews, we were able to spot familiar locations like the astronomy tower and cool environmental details like a moving dragon hedge or this student walking on walls. So in this video I want to go over all the amazing details we were able to spot in the preview footage. If you're excited for Hogwarts Legacy and enjoy the content here on the channel, then leave a like to help us out, subscribe for way more videos on the game, and we are also doing a digital deluxe edition giveaway for subscribers of the channel. You can enter via the link in the pinned comment, and with that out of the way, let's go. I also wanted to mention that we'll be using a lot of footage from other previews, so we'll leave a link to all the channels that we mention in the video description. So while all the flashy combat gameplay and the incredible looking broom flying caught everyone's eye immediately when the previews hit, I was also really impressed with the effort Avalanche has put into building the world and especially Hogwarts. There are so many little scenes and events that play out while you are exploring the castle, like this one where the poltergeist Peeves is annoying a poor Hufflepuff student who's already late for class. And this was actually confirmed to be a scripted event that triggers based on your location in Hogwarts. The developers mentioned this to YouTuber Raconteur, who also noted that there are more of these scripted events that will trigger in specific locations. So while you're exploring Hogwarts, there will always be a chance you run across a new interaction or a little scene that builds more of the world and lore. But a system like this does raise the question if these are one-time encounters or if they repeat every time in the same location. Because every previewer ran into the same Peeves scene at the exact same location, and we also saw this scene before in one of the gameplay showcases Avalanche did as well. I think having them show up once in specific locations makes the most sense, but that does mean you'll need to keep an eye out when exploring the castle or else you might miss them. And I think maybe another example of this is in the footage from French YouTuber Julien, where we see a student whose parents have sent them a howler, which is an angry letter, not only in the sense that the message isn't nice, but it literally reads itself out loud while screaming. And my French isn't that great, but I think this student's parents are mad, saying the kid will never become an Auror, which is effectively a highly trained wizard policeman, if he keeps going on this way. Yikes, rough day for them. Again, seeing stuff like this makes you feel much more part of the world, because there is not just stuff happening to you, but other people also have things going on, and you can see that happening around you. And again, while I believe these scripted scenes will only play out once, there are a lot of fun things in the environment that you can visit whenever you like. Like this amazing animated hedge that's shaped like a dragon. It's just enjoying the sun, but it does start breathing, well, flower petals when you shoot your spells at it. But yeah, spotting details like this really brings that sense of wonder and joy to just exploring the castle. Same with this animated suit of armor in footage from Jackfrags that will salute you when you get close to it. Some of these objects are also interactable, like this fountain where the mermaids start moving in a circle when you interact with it, and we've of course already seen that the open world will be filled with these small interactable objects as well in previous gameplay. And it's not just animated objects, but there's also a lot of students just trying out their magic to varying degrees of success. In this footage from AndyReloads, we see this poor guy being soaked by a rain cloud that seems to be following him around. There's a student trying to walk on a wall like they're Spider-Man, which is a spell I'd actually really like in our arsenal, but I don't think that will happen. A lot of people are also flying brooms around multiple parts of the castle, and even some of the student dialogue reveals interesting details about the world. In this footage from Benjamin Snow, we can overhear people talking about how Professor Black cancelled Quidditch.
Professor Black was terrible before he decided to cancel Quidditch. That decision was the icing on the cauldron cake, if you ask me.
So there's actually an in-game explanation as to why we can't play the wizarding sport, which also shows in the environment as the goalposts aren't properly set up yet. And if Black ever changes his mind, or if we see him removed from his position at one point, that could also be a reason to bring Quidditch back in the future, as it was rumored to have been worked on sometime during the game's development. We made a video on that and more interesting reveals, which I'll leave a link to in the video description. There's also a sneaky reference to the books and movies where one Ravenclaw is correcting another on their pronunciation of a spell.
Rebellious.
Saying it wrong. Ugh, Rebellion.
And yes, it is indeed Revelio, not Revelius. Do your homework. But these students will not be here all the time, as part of making the castle feel alive is having it change depending on the day-night cycle. While the seasons will only change after key story moments, there will be an active day-night cycle when playing the game. And a cool detail that was mentioned by Benjamin Snow is that at night the halls of Hogwarts are emptier than during the day, as students head to their common rooms for the night. During their preview, the collecting wizard also came across a ghost during nighttime, which I'm not sure if that can also trigger during the day, but it seems like a neat scripted event to trigger in the dark. And maybe you already spotted it, but that wasn't just any ghost, as the subtitles confirm that it is in fact Helena Ravenclaw, also known as the Grey Lady. So next to Professor Binns, Peeves, and Nearly Headless Nick, she is the fourth ghost in Hogwarts Legacy that also appears in Harry's time. Another fun thing you can do is find professors in their respective classrooms. When you visit the greenhouses, which by the way look absolutely stunning, you can go to the herbology classroom even if you don't have a lesson planned here. And then you can just see Professor Garlick walking around, taking care of her plants. And in a similar vein, head librarian Agnes Scribner can be found roaming the library, lamenting that students don't value reading enough in this footage from MK Ice and Fire. And considering we can also find Professor Hackett in the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom in one of the gameplay showcases, I think it's safe to say that all professors can be found in their classrooms even when they're not teaching. And when walking the halls of Hogwarts, you will of course come across many living portraits. There's a pretty impressive variety, showing off many famous witches and wizards, and even this giant mural of a dragon moves sometimes, but my favorite one has to be this large painting of a bard playing an instrument that you can just chill out to while he's playing. Even if you're just passing by, you can hear him strumming his tunes, which is a nice change of pace from all the student chatter. There are also painting-based puzzles where you can see a location on a painting and then have to find that location in the castle to solve a small puzzle. So when you get to the spot, which is relatively close to the painting, you find a moth, which is of course attracted to light, so then you cast the Lumo spell to have the moth follow you back to the painting, which solves the puzzle. There are more of these environmental puzzles hidden throughout the castle, like these dragon braziers that light up when you cast Incendio on them, which animates the dragon while revealing a field guide page. Or this statue in footage from WizardPhD, where you might wonder what the spell to cast in order to solve the puzzle is until you look closely and see the feather icon on its base, which reveals that Levioso is the spell to use here. And by the way, we got a lot of comments the last time I mentioned this spell in a video, so I went back and double checked. And while I know it's fun to quote Hermione, it is in fact Levioso and not Leviosa. It also seems that next to some of the Floo Flame locations, which are the game's fast travel points, there's an animated stone carving of Ignatia Wildsmith, the inventor of Floo powder, mentioning how difficult travel used to be before her invention. And she kind of has a point, as there are a lot of these and they are activated by simply walking past them, making traveling through the castle and countryside a breeze. And when you're getting around the castle, either by broom or on foot, you will come across a lot of familiar locations. You can fly past the astronomy tower with a giant telescope on it, the Quidditch pitch of course, where you are also able to fly underneath the stands like Draco and Harry did. And another beautiful part of the castle are these massive stained glass windows with the heraldry of all four houses on display. It's really cool that there are so many recognizable locations, as this will also make it way easier to navigate the castle even on your broom. And there's also one very important feature that was confirmed by multiple previewers, and that is yes, you can pet the cat if you come across it. There are actually multiple of them, as we can see different kinds in different playthroughs, but with these and all our pets we keep in our vivarium, there is a lot to enjoy if you're an animal lover. And there's a ton more information we've discovered in these previews, so subscribe to not miss any future videos covering that, and we'll of course make a lot of tips and tricks videos when Hogwarts Legacy releases too. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and if you want, you can watch Jordan's preview of the game after a hands-on demo by clicking on the screen. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.